Dispatch columnist joins us. Tony Messenger every Tuesday and Thursday. And STLtoday.com. Good morning, Tony Messenger.
Good morning, McGraw. Good morning, Kelly.
Kelly's not here.
No, Kelly. See, I'm like you. I didn't listen to the show this morning either.
All right, fair enough. All right, Tony. So, first of all, the news this morning is that the city has St. Louis police chiefs narrowed down to 6. This is interesting, if I'm not mistaken. This is the first time the city is actually hiring their own police chief without any input from the state. Is that right?
Right. So since Civil War times, until a couple of years ago when Sam Dotson was named police chief, the police board appointed by the state actually ran the St. Louis Police Department. And so all the previous chiefs have been chosen by the police board. This is the first time in modern times that the city is doing two things. One, choosing its own police chief, and two, considering outside candidates. At least some of the 6, I don't know the number, but there will be 6 there tonight, apparently, or at least there have been 6 invited. At least some of those folks are candidates from outside the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, and that is a historic first, and that makes tonight's forum awfully interesting to see the interplay between the inside candidates, and particularly whether or not there's any, rivalries between the inside candidates and who really stands out amongst them, and then also what the outside candidates have to say about St. Louis. Why do they want this job? The winning candidate has to jump through a lot of hoops and go and meet with a lot of constituents and sort of actually bring a lot of warring factions together to agree on one police chief. Well, it's a really difficult job, both because of the politics of St. Louis. St. Louis is a weak mayor city. That's not a criticism of the mayor. It's the way the government structure is set up. The mayor doesn't have all the power. The board of aldermen don't have all the power. The controller doesn't have all the power. All the power is spread out amongst these multiple, jurisdictions, many of whom don't get along either for personal conflict or political reasons. And then you to a police department that is under turmoil, that is under attack for its practices, particularly as it relates to shooting young black men, has not the highest, one of the highest rates of police shootings in the country, and a department that clearly has a racial divide. If you listen to comments that come out of either Jeff Gorda, who represents the Police Officers Union, or Heather Kugler, who represents the Ethical Society of Police. Look at the various lawsuits that have been filed over the last few years. Every time somebody gets passed over for promotion, white, black, male, female, there's a lawsuit and there's conflict. So there's a lot of turmoil in this department. This department needs somebody to lead it and bring it together. The city needs a strong police department that is less divisive, that overcomes the controversy from the kettling that happened earlier this year on Washington Avenue and the overreaction to some of the protests. So this is a really significant time. What I'm going to be looking for is from both the inside and the outside candidates, what's your plan for bringing everybody together? Why do you want to take a job that in two ways is going to immediately be like a punch in the face?
Right.
Why should we believe that you're the person to do this? And hopefully they'll answer those questions tonight.
You can argue both sides, right? Maybe it makes sense to have somebody from inside who knows St. Louis, who St. Louis knows and trusts. But the other side is maybe it's time to go outside, who doesn't have all the preconceived notions, who comes in here with a clean slate and can sort of start fresh.
I'm biased because I'm an outsider. I didn't grow up here. I came here from outside, and I've lived here for a while now, and I love St. Louis, and will likely be here for the rest of my life. But because I view St. Louis with those outside eyes, and I talk to a lot of people
in business who came here from elsewhere and, like me, fell in love with this city and this region, but lived other places and have this outside look at St. Louis. I think there is a value to some outside professional eyes coming in and saying, hey, wait a minute, this isn't how anybody else does this. Hey, not every city has a racial divide and racial politics within its department or within its city the way St. Louis does. There's another way. There's a way for us to bring people together. So that's my bias. That's without knowing who the candidates are and whether or not there's an outside candidate who's qualified and who is the best candidate. But I don't know. I mean, we got to see who the candidates are, what's their resume, what's their background, and can they wow the crowd tonight?
Yeah, it should be interesting times. All right, Tony, have a good week. Thanks for checking in, and have a good day.